Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So Manchester United are not a big club anymore. We are a big club historically. Obviously with the success that we had under Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson endured 26-27 years at Manchester United and won a total of 38 major honours. Like I mentioned, Ferguson didn't settle in straight away at Manchester United because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. And I just think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy. We are the most successful team in Premier League history. We have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. But since Ferguson's retirement, Manchester United have been playing catch up for like the last 7 years. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. We've obviously had different managers with different philosophies. We sacked 3 managers since Ferguson's retirement, and that was David Moyes. He enjoyed around 8 or 9 months with the club. He's enjoyed the shortest tenure at Manchester United. Under the Moyes era, who finished 7th. And Moyes obviously brought 2 players into the club, and that was Marion Fellaini and Juan Mata. Moyes should have never been recommended in, and Ferguson was at the fault for recommending him in, but that's the only mistake Ferguson made. But the main explanation Ferguson recommended him in at that time is because he was both Scottish. Louis van Gaal, he got sacked after 2 years, but he did win the FA Cup. Obviously, Louis van Gaal brought around 16 players in to Manchester United. He brought the likes of Schneiderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay, Herrera, Victor Valdez, Sergio Romero, Rojo, Darmian, Martial, Shaw, Blind. Yeah. But the vast majority of the players who Van Gaal brought in are no longer at Manchester United. There's still a few players here though from the Van Gaal era. And Jose Mourinho, he got sacked after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Also the Community Shield, if you also want to put that into the equation. And I think he also got a second in his first season. The main explanations why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era is because he had bad disputes with the board. The board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend into the club, and he had bad disputes with our top players. From my own perception, I think we recommended Jose Mourinho in too late. Should have brought him in when Alex Ferguson retired. But there's a few Manchester United fans that think, we made a mistake by getting rid of Mourinho. Now, obviously, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And I do believe that Solskjaer will end up getting sacked as Manchester United manager. I definitely think he will be sacked, before Christmas. Could even be sacked sometime this month. He's under serious pressure because, we've endured a bad start to the season. We've already lost 2 of our 3 opening league games. We lost our opening game against Crystal Palace by 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. And we also recently lost to Tottenham by 6-1. That was our worst defeat under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and Solskjaer had made an admission saying that it was his worst day in his managerial career. And it was our heaviest defeat since we lost to Manchester City in 2011 by 6-1. That's 9 years or so ago now. So reflect on this. We are sitting 16th in the Premier League. We are near the relegation zone. We've only registered 3 points from 3 league games so far. I think the best game we've had so far this season was the Brighton one in the Carabao Cup when we did win by 3-0. Our new manager will be Mauricio Pochettino, because recent reports have said that Manchester United have been in contact with Mauricio Pochettino's representatives over replacing Solskjaer at the football club. Now, I think Pochettino is a better manager than Solskjaer. Pochettino's well proven in the Premier League. He's also dealt with top players. My only element of concern about Mauricio Pochettino, he's not won anything in terms of silverware. I think Pochettino is keen on managing still in the Premier League. Mauricio Pochettino has been managerless now for almost a year because Tottenham sacked him last year, didn't they? Tottenham made a mistake by sacking him. I think Tottenham must have paid around 12.5 million to get rid of him. Pochettino did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his managerial tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. Last year, he did progress Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. And he was under contract when Tottenham sacked him, because in May 2018 he signed a 5-year deal with them. Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. Only enjoyed a short tenure with Southampton, but I think he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. Mauricio Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Man United after we sacked Jose Mourinho. But if we do appoint him in, he will be our 5th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. There's a lot of Manchester United fans that want Ollie out, and they think we've got to get a manager in who will suit the strappings of the club, and a manager with a proven pedigree, such as Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola, for prime example. So, some of the blame obviously stems from Solskjaer for the inconsistency. I think his decision-making in a lot of his games at Manchester United have been very, very poor. I think there's also players that have got to take responsibility. Roy Keane has come out and said that, the players are disgraceful, and the players will cost Ole Gunnar Solskjaer his job. You've obviously got Wan-Bissaka. He's had a poor start to this season. You've got Harry Maguire. He's out of form. Like I said to you on my recent video, I think we've got to take the captaincy off Harry Maguire and probably give it to either Bruno Fernandes or Donny van de Beek, or possibly Marcus Rashford. Lindelof, he's out of his depth. Lindelof's had a poor start to the season. Eric Bailly, I think, is a better centre-half than Victor Lindelof, but he's too injury-prone. Eric Bailly is now a doubt for our game against Newcastle after the international break, because he's just sustained an injury on international duty with Ivory Coast. I think he's sustained a hamstring injury. Luke Shaw, he hasn't had a good start to the season. He's obviously not going to be our first choice left back now, because Alex Telles has come in. Paul Pogba, he's also, had a very, very poor start to the season. Now Paul Pogba's come out and made an admission saying that his dream is to play for Real Madrid one day. So he wants to make a move to Real Madrid. So he could possibly leave the football club in January, could Paul Pogba. Obviously, David De Gea, he's no longer good anymore. He's been inconsistent in the last couple of years, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. I don't think David De Gea should remain our number one. I think Solskjaer should now put Dean Henderson as number one, because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. Possibly David De Gea could be sold next summer. This is his 10th season now at Manchester United. But I think a lot of the blame stems from the board. We've been demanding the board out for several years. Woodward has been at the football club since 2012, so he's been with us around 8 years or so now. The Glazers have been at the football club since 2005, so they've been with us around 15 years or so now. And Matt Judge, he's been at the football club for around 7 seasons. He's been a transfer negotiator at Man United since 2016, and he's accountable for some of the failure of transfers. But I just think the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough, and my view is I don't think Solskjaer's been backed enough as Manchester United manager, and I think he does deserve more backing. Because during the summer transfer window, Manchester United missed out on all of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's targets. Obviously, we missed out on Jadon Sancho. We also missed out on Ousmane Dembele, because don't forget we inquired about getting him on loan. We also missed out on Ismaila Sarr. We're not interested in getting Ismaila Sarr anyway before the 16th of October. We also missed out on Jack Grealish. We also missed out on Nathan Ake. We missed out on Sergio Reguilon. We also missed out on Gareth Bale. That's another one. We missed out on Thiago Alcantara. Back in January, we missed out on Erling Haaland. Don't forget, we also missed out on Jude Bellingham. But Solskjaer revealed quite a few times during the summer transfer window that, he was very infuriated with the board. We have been in the process of trying to get a director of footballing since the Jose Mourinho era, and I said it would be beneficial if Manchester United could get a director of footballing because, Solskjaer needs more backing. Someone's got to come in and join his structure. And if we had to get a director of footballing, we need someone who knows the club inside out and someone with that experience. Don't forget, at one point there was a few former Manchester United players linked with that director's role, wasn't there? And Solskjaer said, Man United could still get a director of football in. But yeah, Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for almost 2 years. And I've taken positives from his tenure, like I've said before. He has made some good signings. I think the best signings he's made is Donny van de Beek, Bruno Fernandes, and Alex Telles. I think in total, Solskjaer's brought around 10 senior players now into the team because last summer, which was the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January, brought Bruno Fernandes and Ighalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window that's just shut recently, he brought 5 players in. We got 4 of them players on deadline day, didn't we? Obviously, we got Van der Beek, like I mentioned. We got Edinson Cavani. We got Alex Telles. We got Facundo Pellistri from Club Atletico Penarol. And we've obviously, got Amad Traore from Atlanta. He's going to be joining the football club in January. But he did complete his Manchester United medical yesterday. This was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. He's yet to secure a work permit, and he's not yet, agreed personal terms. We're getting Amad Traore in a deal worth around 37.2 million. We're paying like 19 million up front, and there's like 18.1 million in add-ons. Solskjaer has spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager. We've also seen a lot of players leave since he got recommended into the club. The recent players that left Manchester United was obviously Chris Smalling. He joined Roma on a permanent deal. Farewell to Chris Smalling, because Chris Smalling endured around 10 years at Manchester United, was a long servant, made 323 appearances, was it for us? Something like that in all competitions. I knew we was going to get rid of Smalling. Smalling, don't forget, was out on loan with Roma last season. Diego Dalot, we let him go out on loan to AC Milan. I would have preferred if we'd have got rid of him permanently, though. We also let Andres Pereira go out on loan to Lazio for 1 season. Sanchez, he went to Inter Milan permanently. We made the right decision getting rid of Sanchez, because Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months at Manchester United. And his wages at the time were having a really bad effect on the club. I think he must have been on like £500,000 a week with the image rights and the bonuses included, obviously. We obviously know that Tahith Chong go out on loan to Werder Bremen. Dylan Levitt went out on loan to Charlton. Didn't we loan Joe Pereira out again for another season? I think we did make a mistake by getting rid of Lukaku and Herrera because they were two good players for Manchester United. They left in the summer of 2019, didn't they? Fellaini, he left in January 2019. Darmian left the club, was it last summer? Valencia, he left the club in the summer of 2019 after he endured 10 years at Man United. Young left back in January. He endured 8.5 years at the football club. Also, too, Angel Gomez left us. There's still a few more players that Man United are looking to get rid of. We're looking to obviously offload Rojo and Phil Jones. And we're obviously, looking to offload Jesse Lingard, aren't we? I already give you the news on Jesse Lingard recently. Rob Dawson from ESPN said that FC Porto want Jesse Lingard on a season loan. I also like the way that Solskjaer has promoted the youth because the young players have been given their opportunities at Manchester United. And we've also had some good periods under him. We don't forget, went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. We went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the league. And don't forget, in that 3-month period, we did very, very well when Solskjaer was the temporary boss. I think must have won like his first 8 games as Manchester United manager, didn't he? And that's the reason we give Solskjaer the job permanently, reflects on what he did in that 3-month period when he was temporary boss. But I always said, we give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job too early, didn't we? So so they are the positive you can take from his tenure. He's obviously got just under 2 years left on his current contract at Manchester United. I don't think he'll see out his contract. It'll only cost us around £4 million to sack him. That's totally a contrast to the $18 million that we paid to get rid of Jose Mourinho. But I was saying before this season started, this was going to be a big season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, didn't I? Because this is obviously his second full season at the football club. And I said to you, didn't I, what would represent a good season for Manchester United? And that's obviously finishing in the top 4 and winning a trophy. And if Solskjaer, I said he had to exceed his expectations if he's to remain Man United manager. By the looks of things, he ain't going to exceed these expectations, is he? And I definitely want us to win a trophy because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years, don't forget. But like I've said to you before, Solskjaer's inheriting players here from other managerial eras. He's inheriting a lot of players here from the Mourinho era. Mourinho recommended around 11 players into Manchester United, didn't he? He's inheriting a few players here from the Van Gaal era, still 1 player from the Moyes era. I still think there's 2 players here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. When he came in, Solskjaer, he must have been inheriting a squad that was worth £700 million, and he still is, obviously. But don't forget, the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And at that point, I thought Solskjaer was going to get sacked as Manchester United manager. Last season was his first full season at the club, wasn't it? He did exceed most of his expectations, to be fair. He got us qualification for the Champions League. We also finished 3rd, and we did progress to 3 semi-finals. We got to the FA Cup semi-final, the Europa League semi-final, and the EFL Cup semi-final. But like I've said to you before, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure to work out because I love him a lot. Even if he gets sacked, I will still always love him, because he was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. One of his most iconic moments as a player was 1999 when he scored that last-minute winner and won the club the treble. That is the club's greatest achievement, but I just don't think he's good enough to succeed as a manager. Because like I've said, Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. I think he's managed around 90 odd games for us now. He's won over 50 games as Man United manager. Before he was with us, he was at Molde, won a few Norwegian titles with Molde, and before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. He enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. And don't forget, he managed Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years, where he watched some of this team at this day and age grow and develop. So I think, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to avoid getting the sack, I think, obviously results have got to improve a lot. Certain players have got to step up to the plate. And obviously got to exceed his expectations. This is the only way he won't get sacked as Manchester United manager. But like I've said to you before, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers because we're not really known as a sacking football club, don't forget. But as you all know at the moment, City and Liverpool are strides ahead of us. Our teams around us did very, very good recruitment throughout the course of the summer transfer window. Chelsea made good signings, Liverpool made good signings, City made a couple of good signings, Arsenal made good signings, Leeds made good signings, Everton made good signings, Tottenham made good signings. Our next game is Newcastle after the international break, and so we've got to get back to winning ways. Won't be an easy game, Newcastle. They've made some good signings as well. They've brought the likes of Callum Wilson in, Jamal Lewis, Jeff Henrik. They brought someone else in as well, didn't they? Did Newcastle? Ryan Fraser, yeah, they also brought him in, and I think they also brought someone else in as well. It's going to be interesting to see how Ollie approaches the game against Newcastle. Going to be very, very interesting to see. We lost the game at St James's Park last season by 1-0, but we're beating them at Old Trafford by 4-1. Newcastle's current manager is Steve Bruce. I think a lot of Newcastle fans were disappointed when Rafa Benitez resigned as their manager, was it last year? He's a very, very good manager. He's Rafa Benitez, got a good pedigree behind him. The Saudi Arabians never taken over Newcastle as everyone thought they would have done, so Mike Ashley's still their current owner. But we've got tough games coming up, after Newcastle, PSG in the Champions League. 25-man squad has been named for the Champions League. There's 3 players that are missing, that's Jones, Rojo and Romero. And then after that, it's Chelsea. We've got Leipzig then coming up. We've got Arsenal coming up soon. So these are all very, very tough games for Manchester United out there. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.